Hi everyone, hope you are doing fine. We are going to build an application extension in XWiki. For that purpose I will be using the 11.2 stable version of XWiki with the standard flavor pre-installed. And I'll be following this FAQ application manual tutorial. This is provided to us by Vincent Masol. So we need some prerequisites to follow this tutorial. I hope that all of you have set up your XWiki environment. This is the fresh installation of the standard flavor version. Now for the prerequisites, make sure that you are an advanced user and you are able to view the hidden pages. For that, go to your profile and edit the preferences, display preferences. To allow displaying hidden pages, change this to yes, and user type, change this to advanced, and save this. Alright, now we have completed the prerequisites, and also make sure that the FAQ space within this home, there is no FAQ space here in this home, so we can create our FAQ space for our application. So this is the application overview. This will tell us what we will be creating within this tutorial. First, this is the XWiki class, FAQ class. This will have two properties, a question and an answer. Next, we will be viewing our question page like this, and in edit mode it will look like this. So moving on, so the authoring template will be a template for our page. It will contain all the specific type of fields which we define in the class. For example, if we want for the FAQ application, we will have a question and an answer. So this authoring template will have two fields, one question and the second one answer. So what is the page design sheet? Page design sheet is the sheet which defines how the page will look like. We have these two properties, the question and answer, but if we want to display them differently, like we want to bold the question or apply some different style to answer question and answer, then we can do this using the page design sheet. So the next step will be going to the class editor of XWiki. Since we changed our user to advanced and we are able to view hidden pages, we will be able to view the XWiki class editor. For this, search XWiki classes and you'll get this data types page. Go to this page and here we are. This is where we will be creating our new data type, a new class. For that, we under this heading, create new data type, we will be creating a class of name FAQ. Then we don't want it to be in the XWiki space. We want it to be directly under the home space. So we will change the parent to FAQ. Notice that there is no FAQ space right now inside home. So this will create the FAQ space by itself. So just click on create this class, and now we have successfully created this class. So you'll see some lofty code right here. The comments here explain what needs to be done here. So what our default space will be, the parent space, like the FAQ space we created. This will be the default space of our application, FAQ, and the default parent page of our application will be faq.webhome. Alright, and then save and view this. Alright, we have successfully created the class here, but as you can see, there are no properties to this class. We can add properties in the class editor. Just click on this link. Then we can, since this is a FAQ class, we only need two properties, a question and an answer. This is quite a simple application. We can develop some complex applications with multiple classes. So add the property question as text area. This type, the type will be text area, and add a new property answer. Its type will also be text area. So change the pretty name to capital Q so that it looks better. Then for the answer, also change the pretty name to capital A answer, and save and view this class. Now we have two properties to this class, a question and an answer, both of type text area. So when we create an object of fact class, we will have two text areas which we can fill and style in our own way for the question and answer. So moving on with the tutorial, we will be creating the page design sheet. The class sheets allow to control our presentation of the pages. When we create objects of this class, we will have wiki pages for viewing and editing those objects. So for that purpose, we need to create. We can also have different presentations for the viewing and editing modes, going along with the simple sheet with not much custom code in it. So it will give a warning: the sheet is not bound to the class, so it won't be applied automatically when a page that is object to this is displayed. So we have not yet binded the sheet to our class. This is important. This is very important, because if we do not have a sheet binded to our class, our object will not automatically get that sheet for its representation. So bind the sheet to the class. So since the sheet is now binded, we can just view the sheet page. So as you can see, this is empty right now. If we go to the wiki editing mode of it, what it does is retrieves the FAQ class within this wiki. Then for each property of this class, we use we use the built-in functions display pretty name and display provided to us by XWiki. Display pretty name just displays the name of the property, and display is used for both edit and view modes. When we are in the edit mode, this display function right here will display us a text box for editing that property, and if we are in the view mode, we'll just get a text and no editing controls. So save and view this. We did not change anything within this sheet. So moving on, we will be creating an authoring template. For that, go back to the class. You can go to the class from here, from the breadcrumb. Next is the class template. So this is this template creates an authoring template, which includes the properties of our class. This particular template will contain an instance of our class. So create the template from this button. We'll have a warning that the template does not contain an object of type FAQ. We'll need to add an object of type FAQ so that it can grab the properties of the FAQ class. So add a FAQ object to the template. And now we can go and view the template page from here. As you can see, the template has a question and an answer. This will be used when we create a template for our page, so that when a page is created, we will have this type of view of that template. Alright, next we need to define a home page for our FAQ application. Click this FAQ in the breadcrumb. Notice that we do not have a home page yet, so click on edit this page to create it. Choose the blank page option and create it. Alright, name the FAQ page FAQs. and choose the wiki editor. Now there are two ways through which we can create our FAQ, through which we can display our FAQ entries. First is using the live table component. This is the macro provided to us by XWiki, and this is preferred for this tutorial. The second option we can use to display our entries is through custom code. We'll get to that later. For now, copy this velocity code. So what this code does is define some arguments for supplying it to the live table macro. For the columns variable, we have 3 columns, an array of columns. These are 3 columns, namely question, creation date, and actions. Then we define the properties for each of these columns. For example, for the question column, we define its type to be text, and link to be view, and sortable to be true. And for the actions column, we define 2 actions: edit and delete. And then for options for this live table macro, we define a class name from which it will get all the entries. Notice that our class name is inside the fact space, fact.fact class. Next, we define a translation prefix. We will later use this in our translations, so this is important. It takes this live table macro takes 4 arguments. First is the ID of the live table. This is the FAQ. We define it to be FAQ. The next is the columns, and the next is the column properties, and the last one is the options. All of these are defined as variables above. So save and view this. So we have this live table now, but the headings to this live table are a little odd. You'll notice that fact.question, it's not easily readable for a new user. For that, we'll create a translations page. Inside this space, click the create button. Name this page to be translations. Okay, create this page. Edit this in wiki mode. Now we'll need to go back to the fact space to note what we will be translating. Copy this. Notice that we defined our translation prefix to be FAQ dot. Now it will be used to translate our columns. For this, we will name it to be question. And for this translation, we'll name it creation date. And for this translation, actions. Now save and view this. For now, we have just created a simple page, and there is no object associated with it, so through which XWiki can recognize it as a translation page. To make it work as a translation page, we need to associate an object with it. Go to the objects, then choose the translation document class, add this class, and we have to define these the scope of this translation document class. If we choose global, this translation would be available on the whole of XWiki. We do not want that. If we choose wiki, we will have the translation available only within the fact space. So choose wiki for this. Save and view. Now we have associated this translation with our FAQ space. So when we refresh it, we'll get the translations intact. Next, we need to define a way to create new FAQ entries. This again has 2 ways. First is declare the FAQ as a template, and the second is add a custom creation form. We can add a custom creation form to the end of our web home page. For a simpler approach, we can declare a template For FAQ space, we'll be using a template, since that will be easier. Go to your wiki and go to administrator wiki, go to the content and the page templates. From there, name the template to be FAQ template provider, and make sure to change the space, the parent, to FAQ. Alright, create this template. The XWiki will automatically choose the FAQ template for us. Notice that we created this template within the FAQ class. This is that template that we are using. Now save and view this template. Alright, so now our template has been created. We do not have any entries in our FAQs for now. We can add an entry by creating a page. Then this, notice that we have now a template named FAQ template. We can select this for our new question. Name our question to be our first question. Create this page. We have here two text areas which we defined in our class, the question and the answer. We'll use the text area to define our question. This is my first question. How did we do? This is the answer to the question. Now save and view this. Now we have a single question added to our FAQs. Now if we go to the home page, FAQs, we have this new page, FAQ, in our live table. If we have many questions, we can search through this live table. And we also have added and delete option for a single FAQ. Alright, we have successfully created an FAQ application through which we can create pages of questions, and we can go to this FAQ page to see the list of our questions and edit them. This can be quite helpful. This is a simple application. It can be extended to include the custom code, and it could be made much better. So thank you guys.